Hello, Self, Cosmos, Infinite World. This is Soul Dr. Nick here. Just going to check on the brightness. This is a magic mirror work. See if this still keeps recording. This is, wow, it is, I believe it's Sunday, October 12th, Thanksgiving, 2025, around 7 something, 8 a.m. And being shot on the new Cosmic Orange iPhone Pro Max that I just received yesterday, and then so grateful that I got my dear friend Elizabeth to help transmute the energy of it. It was almost like watching, and so we transmute the energy of it first. All these devices that we have all the time, and yeah, it's a beautiful new morning. Really meditating. Really just finished Bob Frisell's The Ascension Wave, catching the Ascension Wave. Really grateful for that. Really grateful for the coffee urine enema this morning. Grateful for waking up and being awake. Grateful for Bao Bao. Grateful for being with my family and my beloved last night. We had some really big shifts and little shifts as well. One of the things is, how do I keep repeating patterns? And it's not repeating patterns, it's rhyming patterns, and then noticing both the similarities and the distinctions. Because I can notice the distinction of being able to be with what used to be conflict, shame, guilt, and just being with it more. Not that that doesn't exist, and not trying to say I'm above it, because there's a piece on my way home. I got a message from a friend where I hadn't noticed the impact I would have. And it's around weddings, funny enough. Weddings, I seem to have more impact on brides than I imagine, especially. And so I noticed the shame that came up right away. Oh my God, I can't believe I fucked up. I am a fuck up. And then recognizing, okay, how do I be with this? How do I notice this? How do I not instantly blame? Because there's an inner conflict, and inner conflict is always looking for someone to blame. And if anything, it fed into my story that it's in addition to all the other things that are going on. So it's like, oh my God. And last night, at one point, I actually told my beloved of that. And it really helped to let it go, because sometimes I try to hold on to all this stuff and, in my mind, not burden her. And what I'm probably doing is instead holding it and holding the energy of it. And she's confused by it because she doesn't realize it's not her, it's me with other things. And as I said it, probably released some of it. And so we actually got to spend some real quality time together and connect, which I'm really grateful for. I'm grateful for yesterday. I went to the TED Talk with Elizabeth, and there were some interesting speakers. The biggest thing is noticing that as I tell a story, the person who most needs a story needs to, or benefits from hearing the story, is me. And this is a storyteller. And he benefited because he was about to do a public speaking, and the internal voice said, no, tell your story. And he told his story, all the shame, guilt, and everything else in between. And then do it again and again and again. And as much as other people will get benefit from my story, even this magic mirror work, the biggest reason I'm doing this is for me. And as I'm saying my story, I'm hearing my story. Again, I'm playing with the brightness because it keeps bumping it up, and I have to figure out how to have it not bump up automatically. And then just clearing the throat. There's still some gunk coming up. One of the things I realized in my own story is shifting. Right now, the words still are, I had a lung infection, because it's the easiest way and the most common way to describe it. And I don't think it's lung infection the old way. I had green, yellow, mucus coming up, but it wasn't from what I think it was. I think there's this resonance. I think there is this infectious property to us where people can resonate and get the same thing, but I don't think it's the way we've described it. One of the things I'm most looking at now is everything we describe as quote unquote the truth isn't the truth so much as it's the way we've described things, and we can get out of the description rather than just be with a thing what's possible. And that's even now, like as I'm speaking, the present moment is changing, and I'm just trying to catch up with it with my own words. So I'm having an integration today with some beautiful men, and I'm going to take my time with it. It's going to be a big one because it's going to be 5 of us on there if everyone shows up. And just trusting everyone to show up, and then trusting the process to unfold. And then noticing for myself, what have I learned? What is it that part of the words is you can't rush your healing, and most of us, including myself, are constantly trying to rush our healing. We're like, oh my God, I got to get ahead, as if there's an ahead. And that drive isn't good or bad, it's just noticing it. And then noticing, is that really getting ahead? Am I really figuring things out, or am I deluding myself at times? And I think it's a bit of both. I think there are times that I am getting ahead, and times I'm deluding myself, and at times I'm repeating because I'm trying to get ahead, and times I'm causing more pain. But to play with it all, and right now it's just a play. Just turn down the fire. And noticing for myself and the men, they didn't come this time like some people have for health and bodily healing. But one of the things for the breath coming up is going to go through health, wealth, family, freedom, flow, receiving. And there's a deliberateness to it. And I'm going to record little videos of it. I'm going to record about the health one today. And just noticing what is there. What is there for each piece? And it's part of the integration. It's part of the process. And then noticing, that was the feedback from Elizabeth yesterday. Sometimes I may feel like I only have this one shot with people, so let's give the biggest, best shot possible. So instead of just planting seeds for a new spleen, let's recreate a whole new spleen. Instead of just planting seeds for change, let's actually wrench it. And I could see that. And I can see how in the beginning and through the ceremony I planted seeds for myself and my team so that I had some checks and balances. And so that we could actually step into things which are unknown. And the intense mischief and surprise, we're all a part of it. And how am I learning from each thing? How am I growing from each thing? How am I creating from each thing? And then how am I letting go of, oh my God, it's so hard. It's so blah, 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 blah. It's all blah, 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 blah. Why so serious? And then yesterday, being able to praise a mom of a daughter who is pregnant, who's going to go home and live on the family property, and is fiercely independent, and is fiercely herself, and is so different from her mom. I was like, wow, you really nailed it. You raised a daughter who got to be herself, and then you raised a daughter who got to be herself and still choose to come home. You raised a daughter who got to be herself and still choose to come home and know she's got the freedom to do other things and has created things and has been the center of things. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that mom, because maybe not that she needed it, but sometimes when I see something, just saying it. And that's the part. I can see things sometimes and then plant some seeds and leave it. And then one of the seeds I'd planted last year was 2 dear men who I served Hape to, which I don't know why I did in a way. And when we did it, they've been friends ever since. And that's great, because I would love to help generate these experiences of people creating friendships. And it's not me who wants to be that intimately linked with everyone. That's part of the old self, which doesn't want to miss out. And right now I'm like, I have an overabundance. How do I not try to miss out? And then how do I notice my own son and his education and his learning and his desires for more playtime, playmates, friends? And how do I create the environment for that possibility to exist? I'm starting to do that. And then how do I create the possibility of myself and my beloved really stepping into who we are, what we want to do, what we're meant to be, without rushing it, and just creating space for that possibility. It's been taking, I left my work in 2016. It's almost been a decade. And I have not gotten back to where it was. It's not an easy road. It's not a hard road. It's a lot of fun, a lot of challenges, a lot of bumps, a lot of pitfalls, and that's part of it. And sometimes some people will see the end result. Oh my God, you've already figured it out. You've got this, you've done that. What's going on? And allowing them to see and interpret the way they do, and then trusting myself to keep coming back to who am I? What do I want to be? How do I want to show up? 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 Who am I? And I'm really grateful for finding sunshine again, finding water, finding magnetism, finding allies. So I've shifted from teachers, mentors, guides, and it's not that people don't fill those roles at times. One of the words that's really important for me is to see the allies that I have, and who wants to be, who chooses to be an ally right now, who can resonate with that word, knowing that in some ways they're ahead, in some ways they're quote unquote behind, and that we serve each other. And that's the biggest thing, is that we serve each other. And that's who I want to come into these sessions with. They become allies. They're not allies yet. And that's okay. And they are like it's both and stepping outside of timeline, possibility, ascension, stepping outside of what I think I know, stepping outside of aliens, stepping outside of cabal, stepping outside of good, bad, true, evil. And what I'm appreciating right now is that the more I hear, the more I quote unquote learn, the more I see possibility rather than, oh my God, there's another framework. And one of the things I've noticed is I play by my own set of rules. And it's not that there aren't a universal set of laws, possibly. And it's not that there isn't a common rule set that will serve. And when we're trying to impose our rules on others as if these are the only rules you can play with, as if these are the right rules, and it's funny because even the black and white law is anything but black and white, that's where we create dis-ease, that's where we create disharmony, that's where we both have generated amazing things, oh my God, the assembly line, all these things, and also great destruction because we've forgotten that each of us can have different gifts and abilities that we speak to and love. Like, some people can remember the past, some people can talk to trees, some people can, and it's not that all of us can't or can, it's more that what are we developing? And one of the things for me is like, I've seen literally that we're gonna fly in this lifetime. And I think part of it is not learning how to flap our wings, but to remember the lightness that we are too. And remembering the lightness, the reason for some caution and consciousness and not rushing is that we also have to remember our groundedness, because otherwise our lightness will float and I float away. Lightness, float, groundedness, come back. Lightness, float, groundedness, come back. And then yesterday I was hearing more about Babaji again and thinking, oh my God, tuning into that energy of Babaji. I'm just saying him out loud. This is probably the first time I've said his name out loud in a recording like this. And just tuning into Leonard Orr and all these teachers that have been here, Stanislav Grof, Ram Dass, and being with them without thinking that they're better than, worse than anything else. And being able to be with some of their experiences and see it and learn through their eyes and their words. And without having to think, I have to keep learning, I have to keep doing. And part of it is next up is noticing that sometimes I am thinking in multi-dimensions, and when I'm waiting for the approval of others, that may not serve. And sometimes there is the slowing down. So for example, getting this phone, I can see the 10 steps ahead on why it's important and what it is. And I can see how it can replay some old patterns. And I can see how I chatted with someone to actually get clear. Okay, we're gonna expense this through work. Got it, done, do it. And it took some work to get it. Had to actually go on the store a few times, probably for about a week straight, to be able to catch it just at the right time. And passing off the old phone to my beloved, replacing her phone, better pictures, better storage, better speed, better battery for her is going to serve her. This thing we use the most. So how do we actually have the best tools at hand for the things that we need? And part of it for me right now is how do I improve the tools that I know I'm going to use all the time and add fewer tools at this point and start removing some of the tools that I know that I'm not using right now. So I'm not going to get an RV in the near future. I'm not going to try to create new projects like the 360 camera, all that stuff. What I am gonna do is continue to improve and collect the tools that I use on a regular basis. These microphones, this camera, the gimbal, all this stuff, because those are the things that I am learning to embrace. And then I'm doing things like these recordings. So is there anything else that's important right now? There are a few more recordings I was going to do, but I can't remember. Let's do the recording on health first. Let's get ourselves ready for the men. Let's connect for the day. It's Thanksgiving. Let's make sure we call my folks. Ciao for now.